What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. It is Saturday night, and here we are, 3+ years still coming together every Saturday night. And we have a really beautiful show tonight. My mentor was Marshall Rosenberg, and one of my favorite sayings that he would express is that the greatest joy in life is to be of service to others. And when we are in service, when we are in our Dharma, when we are in our divine purpose, it feels great. And there is a creative expression that takes place. It's a blessing when we are in our Dharma. And it's a blessing when we're tapped in and we're feeling that flow coming through. Now, I want to recognize that a lot of you who are watching are in your Dharma, and it could be any number of things. Terry Russo, our nurse, for example, is a beautiful, beautiful Dharma. Beloved Deborah, who's teaching. Eleanor Joy, who's dancing every Saturday night. There's a lot of different forms of Dharma. And I also want to acknowledge that sometimes we are in between. We're in between jobs. We're in between times in our life. And that's hard. That's challenging. But for any of you that are in that state, I want to acknowledge that. And sometimes we feel a calling. And there's resistance, maybe our own personal resistance, or maybe resistance from the outer world. Well, tonight we are going to meet several people that are very much in their Dharma. And we're going to hear a little bit about how they got there and give us some tips and tools and practices. And so I'm really delighted that my ever faithful co-pilot, Omashar, is clearly an amazing example of someone who is very much in his Dharma.
Namaste and aloha, everybody. And yes, walking one's Dharma can be quite a challenge sometimes. And when I started playing piano, I was 3. And I was brought up by an atheist mother and a racist father with a very, very stiff upper lip. And I obviously had a golden, shining, open heart when I was a child. However, my mum at 3 didn't know how to play the piano, but she taught me from a book. She bought books and said, "Oh, put your finger here, put your finger here, put your finger here," and eventually, and then took me through all the classical training. But what happened for me is that I left and went to New Zealand, and I played in rock bands, and I felt empty in my heart because I'd be playing from my mind rather than my heart, and it became very apparent to me. So I decided to stop writing music 100% if I was writing it from my mind and from my heart. And that brought up another dilemma. How do I remain in my heart? And in my younger days, let's say when I was around 20, between 20 and 25, it was very easy because I had this flow going. And I was able to stay in my heart a lot. And when I found myself getting into my head, I'd try and write songs from that perspective. And they were very, poor me type songs. And so what I found as a part of my Dharma was if my mind got too crowded, I'd go out into the middle of a field somewhere and I just lay down. I'd lay down there maybe for 1, 2, 3 hours until my actual mind had stopped and my heart had opened and I can hear the birds again. And I'm prefacing this conversation with that because it's been the mark of my whole life as years and years have turned into decades. The accumulation of dross from the outer world is massive. And so especially now when everything is in this crazy flux. And so I have learned, for me to remain on my Dharma, I have to remain completely empty. And I have to remain fully in my heart. And my mind, with my upbringing, wants to sort things out, but things in your heart are already sorted out. And so I'm just encouraging us all to, when you feel that you can't move any further forward because you're trying to plan your life out, just go into a forest or to an ocean or to somewhere where you can just lay and let go of everything, because sooner or later, we're already perfect within ourselves. We already have a soul's purpose. We already have a passion, but we cannot usually find it through our mind because we're being told by corporations what we should be and who we should be. But we came already dialed in when we came into the planet. And I know I already came dialed in as a sound being, and I'm relatively sound now. And let's say for the first 25 years of my life, it was easy. But after that, the world really started pulling on me, and I realized I had to actually choose a path and walk on it. Otherwise, I kept on going from Dharma to drama and drama to Dharma and Dharma to drama. And so I feel that I'm fully in my Dharma now, and it's actually a lot kind of more work because the outer world is screaming for our attention now, because as we go back into our heart, we stopped giving the outer world our attention. We stop feeding it, and when it stops feeding, it goes, well, if you don't feed me, you're not going to exist. And but the truth is, we're already present anyway. I think that's my end of my line for now, Scott. So yeah.
Omashar, thank you so much for sharing that. We love you and your music, and it's always wonderful when we hear your words of wisdom. And our co-host also has, like yourself, came from quite a background. People might not know Tangila was born into a conservative Islamic family. They wanted to find the right boy for her to marry and all of that. And she found her own way, and she's had an incredible life. She's lived all over the world. She's been a highly successful corporate businesswoman. She was in the Middle East working in the army, working with army officers. She was the very first woman that a lot of Islamic men actually had to confront, who wasn't wearing a veil and wasn't wearing the traditional thing, but was instead telling them what to do. And all these different paths, but then her Dharma came in and she has created Soul Search. And so tell us a little bit about that amazing story, how you went from corporate business entrepreneur mogul to the creator of Soul Search.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, I love the topic of today's show, and I just love being here with all of you. Amazing energy you were all creating together. And actually, early in the morning, I picked a card today from my Divine Feminine deck. And actually, the card that I picked here is Yemaya, who is a famous African goddess, also very popular in Brazil, Uruguay, South America. And it says, the goddess of all that flows. I am an ocean of creative energy. I give birth to what exists within me. And I just thought that was such a powerful message for us today, just because that's what really this is all about, is truly giving birth to what exists inside of us. And for me too, it's just been such a journey to get to the core of Soul Search. And, and it was a journey because I, did come from a very conservative Islamic family. I was raised with very traditional values. I grew up in Saudi Arabia. I'm from Bangladesh. originally. So there's a lot of preconceived notions of what it means to be a woman, what our lives are supposed to look like, everything from what we should wear to what we should do to who we should marry. So, I was really in all of these boxes, and it's been a whole lifetime of like letting go and letting go and letting go to, let the new emerge from within. And so I did work all over the world in international economic development, designing and managing like huge trade programs in Afghanistan, Indonesia, Bangladesh, and working with a lot of people who were not used to working with women in any way whatsoever. And that was, that was incredibly gratifying and exciting. But at the same time, my whole goal was to really support people and empower people. And at first I thought that was through business and commerce and economics. And that's what my earlier career was about. And then I started my own technology and trade company. And again, I was focused on economic empowerment and trade. But then as I, moved further in my spiritual path, the universe started like throwing all of these obstacles and challenges in my path. So I could no longer ignore the spiritual work that I was here to do and my purpose and Dharma. But now, like, as I'm so involved in working and building Growing Soul Search and work with so many amazing spiritual teachers and guides, like all of our guests here today, we all know that true empowerment comes from understanding our own fulfillment and what makes us tick outside of the boxes and the paradigms that we've been put into our whole lives. So for me too, it's been an incredible journey of unlearning, undoing, and it's something that I still have to do every day. So,
Surrender.
Surrender, exactly. Surrender and be brave.
It is being incredibly brave, because you have to walk in the face of everybody. And I still have my mum saying, when are you going to get a proper job? And I'm going, Mum. And anyway.
Well, we're going to meet several other people. We're going to meet, I've been in the channeling world for a long, long time. Back in 1986, my girlfriend got a contract, a $35,000 advance to write the complete guide to channeling. So we traveled all over the world, all over the country in an RV, met all the channels. But boy, we met a channel, today we've got a very unique pair of channels, AJ and Tom. So we're going to hear about, kind of their process. And then we also have a woman who does sound healing, and she also does Akashic record work. And so we're excited about that. And I'm looking for her. Where are you where'd you go? There we go. Well, that's Amanda, who's also a spiritual counselor. Here's Courtney. All right. So these are some of the guests we're going to hear from. And we are going to have a very special guest. To be honest, 2 months ago, my beloved friend, Kristen Hoffman, let me know that her book, it's like a book, her album that she's been working on for 7 years was going to be released in June. And I said, let's build an entire show around that event. And so that's really how this began. She's been working for 7 years on Rainshine, and it's an incredible album, and it's done. And we're going to learn all about the album today. We're going to learn all about how we can attend the concert to celebrate the album. And she's even going to give us the world premiere of one of the songs off the album. So most of you know Kristen Hoffman by now. She is one of the most popular luminaries on this show. She's one of my favorite human beings on the planet. And I just want everybody to know, like, when you hear her sing, of course, everybody says she sings like an angel. I've had the blessing to get to know her as a friend. She is an earth angel. That same beauty of her voice is who she is as a human being. So, Kristen, tell us about your journey of really dropping into your Dharma And yeah, tell us the things we don't know about you.
I love that. Well, I would say that the Dharma of creativity is really the most natural state. It's that deeper cosmic truth of who we are. And I feel that each one of us is a creative being. And actually, when we look around at this three-dimensional experience that we're all sharing, everything around us has been born out of someone's creative vision or dream that has been manifested. And I just want to call that forward before I talk about me, because you are a creative being. And my hope with everything that I do with music, and I'm so fine-tuned with this these days, I get it. My mission is to open up a portal so that you can step into the music, feel emotionally charged, and get in touch with your heart, and remember your unique creative Dharma. That is you, your mission. So that is what I call in every time that I go to play. Every time I create a new song, I'm saying, let me be as clear and present as I can be so that I can allow this creative experience to come through me to assist in your awakening. And this album that I've created is called Rainshine, and then there's a subtitle, Sonic Alchemy for Soul Awakening. And I've gotten really clear with what it is. Sonic Alchemy for Soul Awakening. That is creative Dharma, right? So as you're tapping into your gifts, as you're sharing your gifts with the world, I encourage you to think about, how can I help to be a mirror for this creativity that we are in what I'm offering? And around my own creative path, and back to Scott's question, I grew up I wanted to study music from the time I was 3, and I started with a tiny violin. And then at 4, I moved to piano. So it was very much in me. But growing up in the classical music world, there was this expectation of perfection. And I've come to appreciate the fine-tuning elements that the classical world offered. It was part of building this vehicle that carries me now to really practice, and learn how to hold a certain level of accuracy. However, I would say that perfectionism and perfection, or an expectation of perfection, is actually the opposite of the Dharma of creativity. And part of my evolution as an artist, probably the most important part of my evolution as an artist, has been learning to lay down my own patterning and foundation of the classical expectation of perfection and step into a space where I can be in the presence of flow, as Omashar mentioned, and in the presence of an open heart, being open to what wants to be birthed, to be open to the mystery, to the majesty, to the undefinable sacredness of what creativity is. I don't even know how to define creativity. Creativity, I think, is call it what you may, spirit, God, higher self, cosmic light. Creativity is like around us. It is the brew of our magnificence floating around, I think, waiting for that invitation to come in and play and to be shared. The word sharing, I think, is so important as we talk about the Dharma of creativity. Earlier in my life, I would say that every time I got on a stage, there was also this kind of bar of, oh, I am the performer. I have to do it right. I have to do it well. I have to perform well. And another huge turning point came when I had a deep, deep dream vision. And from that point on, I moved from thinking of myself as a performer and evolved into every single time I share, it's like I'm sitting in a living room, whether there's 3 people in my living room or whether there are 3,000 people or 3 million people in this living room. We are sitting in a circle and we're sharing. And each and every person in that circle is actually contributing to the flow of that creative energy. Every single unique person who is present plays a role in what comes forth. So I just fully believe that the Dharma of creativity is one of the most important aspects of this existence for us to start to dance with. It's not just for professionals, it's for everyone. And I think when we allow ourselves, when we give ourselves permission to be in creative flow, we literally are setting ourselves free. I think freedom exists in that presence and in that flow, in your creative vision, literally birthing itself forward. So I think that kind of takes us to the next moment.
Well, we've got a couple questions.
Okay.
So I've got one, and there's also a really good question from, I believe it was from Laura. Yes. Laura asked, "You're so prolific. Why did it take 7 years?" So there's that question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then my question is, knowing that you went to Juilliard, knowing that you studied opera, where it's very much about being perfect, what are some of the tools and practices to make that shift from being perfect to being real, to being in flow? So there are 2 questions for you.
Perfect. I'll go backwards. So I think being in flow is very simple when it comes down to it. It's allowing yourself, Omashar said this in the beginning, to step out of your mind. When we are overthinking and trying to create from here, there is not flow. And to just surrender to the present experience. And in that surrender, we must give ourselves permission to possibly make mistakes, right? We might, when I'm playing, sometimes I might make a flub. And if I'm in the perfection model, then I suddenly have this voice that starts judging, and then I'm no longer in the creative flow. If you're hearing that voice that's narrating your whole experience, I think that is a sign you're not in your creative flow. When you surrender and when you can be present to everything, even quote unquote mistakes, then you can really give yourself permission to evolve. And in that permission is birthed, it's almost like a garden that starts to grow. And the more you step into the space, the more you give yourself that spaciousness and listen in that space, the more that garden grows. Can you remind me of the other question again?
Yes, 7 years.
Oh, yes, 7 years. And this is so important too. You know, I used to always pride myself. I've done many records in my life and songs and commissions and all of this. And I usually can get them done. If I say I'm going to do it, I could do a whole record in a few months even. This record, I got a very deep message from the first day I started, that this is my spirit record. I'm writing this record for the spirit of humanity, and I'm seeing that it's meeting humanity at spirit level, and then kind of I have this vision that it's like assimilating down into physical form. And I knew right away that part of this journey was deep, deep, deep listening. It's not about pushing from anything from here. It was about listening so deeply. And I just committed to be in the process of it. So sometimes I wasn't feeling that deep spirit inspiration. And had I sat down at those times, it would have been like pushing something through. And so I decided only to work on this when I was really in a place where I could be in maximal creative dharmic flow. And it took 7 years. And that's just what it took. And there were moments when I wanted to criticize that. And now I realize, for so many reasons, that it was the exact right timeline. And sometimes, you know, as humans, I think we want things to happen like this, boom, boom, boom. And really, I'm looking now from a zoomed out perspective, and it's like, oh, 7 years. That's what it was. And it's not even that long.
And please explain the title to us, Rainshine.
Yes, perfect. And then I will share a song. So Rainshine, to me, it is full spectrum. It is, this whole album is about a willingness to be present to all of it, all of this life, all of your heart's journey, to walk through the storm and understand that there's great wisdom and nutrients that comes from those times. And then when the shine, to really let yourself be in the shine. And I see this kind of sacred quiver point. And that's really what Rainshine is to me. It's like when you have walked through that storm, after the storm, the water has fallen, the water's on the ground, it's everywhere. And then all of a sudden that beam, that ray of light comes through and it illuminates the water. And there is this sacred quiver that begins to happen. And to me, that sacred quiver, it is the mysteriousness where life comes from. And I see in that quiver point, all of the possibility exists for our next birthing. All of that possibility for the full flowering exists in that little quivering seed that's just ready to crack open. And so that's what Rainshine is. It is that quiver point. And I say this in the album, there's a saying in Japanese, I think I'm going to say this wrong, but tamashi ga fureru. And it means soul is shaking. And it literally speaks to this. It's about when there's so much spirit that you have, there's spirit that's come through in this sacred moment that your soul shakes and quivers and you're ready for that next birthing of you.
Wow. Well, tell us about this first song.
So I just said birthing of you, and I chose the first song from the album called Born. And I did, this song was actually born out of a willingness to just be present to creative Dharma. It came first out of a solome, and then I worked it through in front of live audiences where I had no lyrics. And I just kept letting it flow. And each night some more lyrics would come out, and eventually the whole song was born. I think it's perfect for the beginning of a show, and it says, hold out your hand tonight, bridge the darkness, light the light. And that's what we're going to do. All your fears are feathers now, falling into grace. Here we go. And I just want to ask everyone, if anyone's unmuted, please mute yourself so that we can fully experience the music. Thank you. And I have a microphone here. It's funny. I never use backdrops, but I'm going to be singing it all live.
I'm going to go to gallery view, and I want to invite everybody to just twinkle her with your amazing appreciation. What we have just witnessed, we have just witnessed the world premiere of this incredible song.
Thank you.
Even
so
Jasmine Bear is very excited. She was like wanting to jump up on my lap.
Oh, bless
Oh,
her.
Kristen, that is incredible.
Oh, thank you. And I just want to send lots of kudos to the incredible musicians. Premik Russell Tubbs was playing the flute. Matthias Kunzli is the most brilliant percussionist, drummer. Darian Cunning was playing all of the kind of textural basses and guitars on that. And of course, I was doing the piano and the kind of strings and whatnot. Oh, and Karen Olsen was playing. Oh no, not on that track. Not on that track. Sorry, I'm getting confused. She's on the album though. We love Karen Olsen. But
we appreciate all the people who have contributed to that. And, you know, I also want to acknowledge your father who's watching, your beloved father, and I'm sure your mother who's watching from on high. Thank you to both of them for bringing you into this world. Yeah.
Thank you.
So this, Kristen, is so precious to all of us that we're going to do something we've never done before.
What is that?
Well, every Wednesday night we have a show called The Awakening World. And it just so happens that on Wednesday night, June 21st, you are going to be doing a very special concert. So instead of having an Awakening World, we are going to direct everyone to this, to the World Unity Week, New Earth Rising, the featured event, the Rainshine album concert. It's going to start a little bit earlier, everybody. You know, usually our show starts at 6 Pacific time. It's going to start at 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern. I'm going to put the information where people can register. But tell us, Kristen, what's going to happen on the 21st?
Yes. Well, first there will be an opening prayer by Chief Elaine Jr., who I know most of us on the Awakening World know well. And I just can't imagine a more beloved soul to open us into the space. And then I will call us into the Rainshine experience for maybe about 5 minutes with a little bit of talking and just preparing us. And then the music journey, which is deeply meditative. Now, the piece you just heard has words, but half of the music is kind of singing and music that is, well, it doesn't have words that you might recognize. Let's put it that way. And it's a journey. It's a 39-minute journey. I highly recommend to bring headphones. I've done a lot with a beloved Paul Geluso and added some spatialization. So you really will have an immersive experience when you put on your headphones. But it's perfect if you want to listen on speakers or your computer as well. And it will be 39 minutes, no clapping in between. So this is a time for you to go deep, to maybe have a journal with you. It's a time for visioning, for feeling your heart opening. And then at the end, there will be a, 10, 15 minutes for sharing. And it'll be kind of the satsang or dharmic sharing time to really just sense the visions that have come through. And I think every time we dive into music for about 30 to 40 minutes, there's this blessing of possible visions and messages, and I want to make a little time to share those.
Beautiful. So a few important announcements. I've got my World Unity Week banner because, of course, Global Peace Tribe, we collaborate every year with World Unity Week. And in fact, next Saturday night, a week from tonight, we are kicking World Unity Week off. The Awakening World will be doing a big all-evening event with World Unity Week. And it's really easy to register. Just go to worldunityweek.org, worldunityweek.org, and click register. It's free. Put in your name. You're going to then get the information, and you'll easily be able to find Kristen's concert when you go to the schedule of events. And
it's the solstice that night. So we're going to have a super powerful time together on the on the day of greatest light, at least in this hemisphere.
Absolutely. It's amazing. Now, also, there's an opportunity for us to pre-register for your album. So I've put the link into the chat box, but I'm going to bring it up for everybody. So click that link, and that's where you can go to Spotify and pre-register, kind of pre-save the album, which I've already done. So it's easy. You go in, you go into your Spotify account, or you can go into Spotify through Facebook or Google. I actually just did it as a run through, so that's why it's not taking me through now.
Good. And for those of you who don't use Spotify, it will also be in every online store, and you could also go to my Bandcamp starting the morning of the 21st, and that will, so you could even listen before the release concert that evening if you like. It'd be great.
Now, there's one other very important thing that I want for people to know. Once a month, there's something very special that takes place. It's on the second Sunday of every month, and it is Kristen Hoffman's special private community group. And it just happens to be tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. It's always on my calendar. I'm always there. And here's the thing, everybody. Let's support this incredible Earth Angel. And it's really easy to do that. Go to her website, KristenHoffman.com. Note there are two N's at the end of Hoffman. It took me a while to learn that one. KristenHoffman.com. Go up to the upper right-hand corner where it says Payment and Membership, and then go down where it says Become a Member. And you can become a member of her Sonic Soul family for as little as $11 a month. Or you come into $33 a month, or it's $77 a month. And she gives so much. This is the best monthly investment. I mean, look, we think nothing of giving that to Disney Plus or Netflix. Give something like that to beloved Kristen. And what's wonderful is that when you join, you get all these wonderful things. And it includes her Sunday concert. And it's more than a concert. It's really a chance to drop in with Kristen and her family of friends and beloveds. She always does a salome and a theme and a song. You heard how eloquent she was. Kristen, please go back and read in the chat box how people were touched by your words. Well, once a month, we get Kristen music and Kristen eloquence. Second Sunday. So join today so you can be with us all tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you, Scott. And I want to thank everyone who is in the Sonic Soul family. You have been instrumental in helping support me in this album making process. We're living in a world now where you really no longer can make a CD. And then I used to be able to sell CDs and then see that money come back in and then put it into the next record. And so things like this membership have helped me so much. And I just want to bow. Thank you for those who have joined and been on this journey with me. I am so grateful. And also just for all of the support, the energetic support. You don't have to be in my membership to send that support. Just, if you can send a little well wish for the life of this record, that it goes and really touches human hearts, as I hope, that is, I will be forever grateful. Thank you.
Let's do that right now. I'm going to go to gallery view. I invite everyone to take a moment. And as you all know, I like to say maximum grace for Kristen Hoffman and all of her creative expressions. Maximum grace for Kristen Hoffman and all of her creative expressions. Maximum grace for Kristen Hoffman and Rainshine, knowing that it's going to touch the hearts of people all around the world.
Thank you. Infinite gratitude. Love, and light to each and every one of you. Thank you, Scott. I love you so much.
Thank you, Kristen. I love you. And I know I'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Yes.
I want to welcome all of the people that are watching on Facebook. Most of the people watching the show right now are on up to 150 Facebook groups and pages. Thank you, John and Summer Raymer. They're good friends and fans of Kristen. A lot of you are also watching on our YouTube channel or Alan Steinfeld's YouTube channel. You might be watching on Humanities Team or the Conscious Awakening Network, or even on Tangila's channels. Come and join the Global Peace Tribe. It's really easy to do that. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com. You can learn all about us. You can get a free copy of an amazing book called Activate Your Soul Tribe, and then click register for the new season. We just started our new season last week. And so if you register, you're going to get the Zoom room links for the next 4 months. And you can come into the Zoom room and interact. Like you noticed how already we were putting links into the Zoom room, and being in the Zoom room is where it's at. That way you can connect with Kristen and Tangila and Omashar and all of our different guests every week. We do 3 or 4 shows every week. And this week we chose this theme throughout all 3 shows. We always do a show on Wednesday night, Living Your Dharma as Creative Expression. Wednesday night's show was very powerful. Of course, this is the show we're doing tonight. And then come back again tomorrow morning for our Sacred Sunday show. And all of our guests are coming from all over the world. Alexander and Rama, who Kristen and I were with in Sedona a couple months ago, will be with us. They're coming to us from Europe. Pops Mohammed from Europe is going to be with us, and another artist we love, Tatiana Speed. So that's tomorrow's Sacred Sunday show. Come and join the Global Peace Tribe. It's very inexpensive. You're going to get a lot of discounts, and you're going to meet the most wonderful people with one thing in common. We all are creating together the world that we want, and we're supporting each other. And one of the great supporters of creating the awakening world is Tangila. Hey, Tangila, how are you doing? And what did you think of Kristen's song?
Oh my goodness, she was amazing. I was just blown away. Kristen, congratulations. She is such a powerful musician. You're such a powerful musician and healer. And I was so emotional before you even started because I could just feel the energy resonating through you and reverberating through you, and the way it came out in that song. Oh my God, congratulations. I'm so excited.
I love you, Tangila. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love you too. And thank you so much for sharing all of this with the world. I'm sure so many people are going to be just moved, and you never know what is going to crack open someone's heart and someone's consciousness. So you're doing that. So thank you so much.
A big thanks also to Dorina Joy. She's already registered for World Unity Week. She's put into the chat box the links to where you can join in room 1, which is, of course, the main room for the concert. I hope to see all of you again with Kristen tomorrow afternoon. And of course, again for her concert on the 21st. And Kristen will also be dropping in a week from tonight for our big World Unity Week kickoff party and celebration. So it's June of 2023 is officially Kristen Hoffman month. I declare it.
That is really sweet, Scott. Thank you.
Tangila, tell us about, you've got some amazing guests lined up. Tough act to follow, but everyone is unique in their own creative expression. Who's your first guest tonight?
Exactly. Well, I'm just so thrilled about all of our guests this evening. And we're starting off with Amanda Romania. She is an incredible visionary international author, Emmy-nominated documentary producer, spiritual mentor, Akashic record oracle, and librarian. And Amanda actually is based here in Sedona as well. So she's one of our Sedona healers and mentors. And, Amanda has for the past 20 years led tours to the world's major sacred sites, Glastonbury, Central America, Egypt, and she's extremely active in Egypt, where she's worked alongside of the top Egyptologists and wisdom keepers, and she really facilitates the highest potentials in individual lives by helping people to remember who they are, to find their spiritual purpose, and really leading us towards that next generation ascension consciousness. And so Amanda is an incredible, powerful cosmic Akashic records oracle. She is also an author and very prolific. Also, she has her jewelry, spiritual technology. So many forms of creative expression that Amanda brings forth in so many ways. And I'm just so excited to have her joining us here today. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you, Tangila. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone, for letting me be part of this amazing tribe. I'm totally blown away.
Well, we're so happy you could join us, Amanda.
And I have to do a shout out. That song was incredible. And call it an occupational hazard, but I had to draw from my oracle deck that I created. What is the essence of that song for me, or a message? And it was totem animals, which in my readings is tribe. This is awakening people's Akashic records, helping them on their Dharma. You're saving so much work and time out there, my dear. Amazing, amazing. And just watching the faces of all the amazing community, I call it Akashic eyes open. I'm seeing druids, I'm seeing Atlanteans, I'm seeing star beings. It was like everyone's veils and masks lifted. So celebration, my dear. I'm so excited where this is going to go. This is not just your month, it's going to be your year now, I'm sure. But thank you. I had to just, they're jumping in my ear, all my guides and my spirit family. So I wanted to share that while I was here.
Oh, I love that so much. And the card just feels so resonant with the music too. It's just, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. These cards make my life so much easier. Oh. So Tangila, thank you so much for inviting me. What can we talk about today?
Well, we are excited to have you here. And Amanda, well, you start off with your oracle deck. And so that is one of your forms of creative expression. So I would just love to hear from you about the oracle deck, about the work that you do, and what it means for all of us in terms of, this living our Dharma through our creative expression.
Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes I think about the word of Dharma and I think, well, did I find my Dharma or did my Dharma find me? The one thing I remember, though, from 20 years ago when I came on a flight to North America and I spent time living with the 13 indigenous grandmothers and the tribal elders, me who knew nothing. And just by saying, yes, can I help? What can I do? Being of service, like Scott said, it's about that service element. And things would just evolve. I am in Aries with Aquarius rising. So I am a little bit, I've got one foot in the door. And my main thing is, how does it work? How can we make it practical? And how can it support our lives for joy and happiness in this lifetime? I've spent 20 years in tombs, in temples, crawling around under the Sphinx, under the pyramids, in temples such as this, the Temple of Philae, Isis Temple, helping people through their past lives. And I found that now people are really engaging with, why am I here at the earth at this time? So I created the Oracle deck. I actually, I teach a lot of the psychics and intuitive readers here in Sedona. And I had a bag of 1,000 Oracle cards. And trying to take that for sessions and do things with was just unrealistic. So I sat down with my assistant and we took 44 of the things we needed to do with cards. And we created our own deck. We tried it out. The professionals loved it. The people in Sedona loved it. Now we're published in China as well. So, but what we found was it wasn't just working with the records, it was actually clearing and upgrading the records. So exactly in the same way, you just had that amazing moment. And I saw the people in the audience, you were checking in with your ascension grids, you were downloading messages, you were uploading love. It was incredible. And my way of thinking is through the throat, the speaking, the reading, the books that I've written. And I actually asked my deck, what am I here for? And the cards that I got today was your Dharma at the moment is engage with your cosmic lives, your cosmic friends, your light, with the ancestors and the earth, And I actually live here in Sedona in the middle of a vortex. So I'm very, very blessed. And use your throat chakra, use your voice, use your words. And this isn't about just me. I'm actually a mirror of everybody that's in this room or in this connection. So I feel that our collective Akashic record, our karma is upgrading, the messages are going up, and that's creating a ripple out there. And if I can be part of that in a small way with sharing, then I'm very happy to do so. And that's service to me.
Question for you.
Yes.
How did you move into, because of course, most people, when they grow up, they're not thinking, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a channel. How did this evolve from you? And was there resistance either within yourself or from the outer world that you had to overcome?
So thank you for that question, Omashar. I was very fortunate. I was brought up in a small village in northern England. I was an only child, and I went to something called Sunday school, which when you went and listened to the religious stories, they gave you a stamp with a beautiful picture of Mother Mary or Jesus or the Nativity, and you collected these like beautiful stories. Yes, they were parables, but they were beautiful stories. And religion wasn't really, I studied religion in school, and I was very blessed that no one actually gave me, well, you have to follow this, you have to follow that. But what it meant was that I could go into many, many different faiths and work in many, many different cultures like I do now. And my parents were very modern in their thinking, and they grew up in the age of the Beatles. So they had no idea what I did. The only time I felt resistance was I owned my own chain of shoe shops. So I was a commercial retailer. I loved that. I still do love commercial retail work. And what happened for me was I was studying business at Durham University, which is a university in Northern England, and it looks like a set for a Harry Potter movie. It's very old, a cathedral, a church, a castle. And I was doing my doctorate in business. And they kept sending me to the theological department. And that was the only time I really found resistance. And, you know, I'm a small 5-foot female, so no one really pays much attention to me. So I found that when I was coming in and out of countries where we're in military coups or in lockdowns, no one's paying attention to me. I'm just slipping through with my little British passport. So I was able to move in and out of cultures, different belief structures, and no one said it to me, but no one pushed me out, no one closed a door. So they kind of welcomed me through.
Beautiful. And I know you do spiritual consultations. So tell us, what's your favorite demographic group, and what are some of the things you can help people with?
So I'll come back to the demographic group, but my consultations basically are a span of time where I have my own method of Akashic therapy. That's what I teach. Akashic records, you can open up your oracle gifts. But if you really want to know your soul's map, your plan, your scroll, where you've been, where you're going, who your cosmic being connections are, helping people find that. And I have a very powerful method of taking them into a certain dimension where they can obtain the information that they want. So I'm not just teaching them to go to the records, I'm teaching them how to work in the records. I work with many demographics. I work with, normally it's the people that we're seeing in the tribe today would be my American demographic, but I'm very blessed. 50% of my time, I'm actually working in Asia now. So my time here in the Native American work is doing my documentary work, which was End of the Line, The Women of Standing Rock. Yeah, I was the starter and founder part of that. And I'm an executive producer on that production. So if you've watched it, you've heard it. That was my karma that I created a Dharma from. So I just saw the lights go off in Miss Kirsten's little bubble. So I'm glad that we've had someone that's been able to see that. Yes.
I actually wrote a song called Prayer for Standing Rock to raise money for the film. And I think we raised about $750, which I donated. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Incredible
that was an
project.
Absolute labor of love.
Yes.
That was a Dharma project that when my friend and one of my working partners called me and said, can we go? And I said, here's the credit card. Let's just get you up there. And it all unraveled. And it took us around the world. And so, you know, these things, I'm not a producer of documentaries. But what I do have is a gift to unlock the purpose and the protocols of a project. So I stay in my lane, and that worked out. Sessions and teachings and the amazing soul search umbrella that I have been honored to jump under. I met Tangila at an event here in Sedona. We were all pushed into a little cubicle area, and we managed, and we helped a lot of people in our various ways. And then in Asia, I work out of Japan, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Beijing. I've been in Beijing since 2019 online, and we can have 200 to 400 people on a call. So my Venus line goes through Beijing. I work for Kuan Yin. So that's one of my missions at the moment. And you know what? They're asking the exact same questions as we are. They're having the exact same heart openings as we are. So that's my preferred areas, but I never know. That's why my doorway is always open for people. Whoever needs the help, we're there to support them.
Fantastic.
Wow, thank you so much, Amanda. And actually, Dana is asking, how did you begin to read the Akashic Records?
So I was trained in Glastonbury. My teacher, Isis, had a retreat center on the toll where I lived. And I was reading people's past lives. And I didn't understand how I knew 30 seconds before they would say something, what they were going to say in a past life regression. And then I was actually in this temple here, Philae Temple, and we'd done our work. There was about 30 of us in the group. This was way back, 20 years ago. And there was a group of women huddled together crying, and they didn't know why. So I went over, and it was like my first Egypt journey, so I was very green. And I started telling them the story. And when we were a priestess, and do you remember the initiation? And oh, and this happened. And they all had this remembering. There was a healing and a clearing. And then we got on the boat and went to the next place. And then this happened in every temple. And at first I thought it was my past lives. I thought I was going crazy. So I made it my life's work to sit down and try to create a program of understanding that was logical, that still allowed the brain to be creative. Because it's like you said right at the beginning, I think you said it, Kristen, when you judge, you close the stream of energy. But when you have that open observation, oh my gosh, the amount of information that's there is incredible.
It's wonderful to have you. And I want to let everybody know we're going to have a Q&A with many of our people. Kind of after everybody's had a chance to express themselves a little bit. So if you've got additional questions for Amanda or any of our guests, except for Kristen, she's on the East Coast, so she's going to go to sleep early. But for our other guests, our soul searchers, we will have a Q&A period. And I want to remind everybody that you can learn a lot more about Amanda by going to her website. And her website is her name. So it's nice and easy to remember. It's amandaromania.com, amandaromania.com. And you can go there, and there's a lot of wonderful information. You can learn more about her. You can gift yourself to even some of her jewelry. But I especially want to really emphasize how to book a spiritual consultation with her. Just click book spiritual consultations, and you can learn about the different options, the different ways that you can work with her. And clearly, this is somebody, especially for those of you who have really been fascinated with the Akashic records. What a wonderful opportunity to work with Amanda. So again, AmandaRomania.com. And Amanda, will you be able to stay and maybe answer a few more questions?
Of course, of course. Normally 6 till 9, I'm teaching in Asia. So I'm normally on my morning in Beijing. So this is perfect time for me.
Great. It's wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much. Thank you. You know, we are beginning to bring back that wonderful feature called Wisdom Jewels. So a big thanks to Jay Mayer. He's been pulling some of them out for us. And so just as a little break in between presenters, here is tonight's Wisdom Jewel brought to you by Light Touch. Weren't each of those brilliant?
Definitely powerful.
Yeah. Tangila, I turn over to you to introduce your next soul searcher.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. And thank you to Amanda for your incredible presentation. You're amazing and powerful teacher. So we're excited that you could join us. And I'm so happy to be introducing Courtney Walters of Shanti Evolution. So Courtney, she is an incredible energetic healer. She provides all types of healing services to support you in tapping into and acknowledging your true divine nature. Her sessions include Tibetan sound bowls, gongs, chimes, healing crystals, healing energetic touch, and lots of love. And she also does Akashic Records reading and clearing. She works with transformational life coaching, personalized yoga practice, and mental fitness. So it's really amazing the work that Courtney brings forth into the world, combining so many different modalities and including crystals, because she also works with crystals in her practice. And I had the pleasure of, first Courtney came to one of our psychic fairs in LA. And then she and I actually was able to do a session with her at the Portal to Ascension conference in San Diego, which was amazing and very powerful. I was able to receive this personal sound healing on her table with the Tibetan sound bowls, the chimes, healing crystals, energetic touch. And it really did provide a very powerful upgrade and clearing for me. So much so that when I went and sat in Vivian Chavez's copper pyramid, I had this massive throat chakra release. So definitely there's a lot of powerful work happening there. So thanks so much for all of your work, Courtney, and welcome to the show. I'm so happy you could join us today.
Thank you so much, Tangila. Great to be here. Thank you.
And of course, you bring so much into the world with your sound healing and music and movement and energy healing. So just want to hear from you, really about your work, how you feel about, you're living your purpose through creative expression, what that means to you and how you got started.
Okay. So as you mentioned, there's so many things that kind of, I guess I'm living. So when I sit with the question of living my purpose, I would say that first, the creative expression is just living the life. So it's the experiences that are combined through every day and adventures. So I live my life through explorations and self-discovery, first in trying to understand the world around me so that I could understand and uncover the world within me. So what does that mean? At a very young age, I was introduced to Reiki. One of my mother's friends attuned me and said, you can use your hands anytime you want to send love and healing and receive energy and feel energy. So from a very young age, I was in tune with the subtle energies of life. But like all of us, I was living, I think, primarily at the less subtle levels of life, in experiencing the world. And there was kind of this disconnect between what I was uncovering through my internal and external explorations and the life experience that I was living.
But the more that I spent time tuning into that intuition through nature, and through, for me, meditation, my practices are Buddhist meditations, I was able to start to align myself with my intuition so that it could kind of unfurl in my life. So the creative expression of my life is just the living of it. It's the adventures that I've gone in, riding my motorcycle across country and living in the jungle. These are ways to express and uncover myself in life to then understand my Dharma. So what is my Dharma that I'm living? It's being part of a community, and acknowledging the community that is in and around me. So events like this, where we can talk to people and connect with people that are in alignment with our paths, is really lovely. But for me, it's also acknowledging the community, the subtle energies that surround me all of the time, that surround all of us all of the time, that we are part of and connected to, and allowing that energy to flow through and speak through us and our hearts. So part of the way that I express is through, as you said, sound bowl sessions and healings. And because I was so in tune with the subtle energies from a young age, I've always been very sensitive to sound and vibration. So how something feels, and if it's resonant or not. So I was drawn to the bowls, specifically these babies, because they allow me to align to a more resonant energy that I can connect to more purely. And this puts me in tune with myself and allows me to kind of expand and free myself and to tap into that energy with those that I'm around. So the vibrations of the bowls help me to settle into my own energies, and so then to create and hold a space for others to tap into their energies. And I discovered these bowls by just first stumbling along this path of discovery, of living this life, and kind of stumbling upon aspects of myself that helped me to connect to that deeper intuition. When I started to bring in a deeper meditation practice, I was able to more consciously understand when I was tapping into that intuition. So for me, the first real inkling of tapping into that intuition was in relationship with others in terms of education. So I became a yoga instructor, and I also was a permaculture gardening instructor at a local university. And I realized that tapping into my passion for nature, gardening, and just connecting to and supporting and expanding with the earth, and sharing that in community with other people that it was important to, really allowed me to align to myself. So, yeah, allowing the energy to flow through. And so that takes a space to be created. And it's a space that I'm taking for myself, even though there's hundreds of people watching, taking the time to breathe and ease into it. As I think that through life, many of us don't allow ourselves that space, right? Because we're jumping to the next moment, jumping to the next great idea. So settling into the space of ourselves to allow things to bloom, just like seeds that are planted, just like an album that maybe takes 7 years to make. Settling into the space of self to understand it and allowing it to expand is maybe the easiest way that I can say that I can step into my Dharma as creative expression, if that makes sense.
Courtney,
Yes.
how do you manage the voices that may be pushing you? Like, what is your practice for honoring and acknowledging that part of us that feels like I got to get something done, to allow yourself, like we just witnessed right now, to take that pause, to take that space?
Good. Thank you so much for asking that, Scott, because I'm a little nervous and that question feels grounding because it's overwhelming. Everyone here is so amazing. Wow. There's a lot of stars shining brightly in this sky. So my practice is first, there's several practices, but simple ones that I think anyone can do and resonate is grounding into the earth energy. So I do that by being in nature and by being in earth, but also just by rooting myself into that energy mentally or with my mind. So I'll imagine a root coming down into the earth and drawing energy up and feeling that, because I'm connected to the earth and I am part of that expansive energy, and calling the energy into my own physical body. So a lot of the energy gets stuck up in the mind, and I think that's where we get caught in things. So how do I bring myself into my body? Simple practices like feeling the vibrations of the bowls by simply touching fingertips together to bring myself into the physical body. My asana practice has helped me a lot in this. But probably the most profound is just taking a nice deep breath. And I just gave a talk earlier today, and I talked about the breath. If anyone here practices yoga, then you've likely discussed and studied the power of the breath, because it is something that we miraculously do not control it. And so through controlling it, we can bring consciousness into ourselves, into our actions. And if we practice controlling the breath and being mindful of it, then we can bring consciousness into all of our actions, so that the path that we create is more conscious. And it's not just riding the flow, but it's actually being the flow.
Beautiful. And I really appreciate your being honest about feeling a little nervous, because it is, everybody's a bright light. And I know that Kristen would be the first person to say that each and every one of us is equally bright. It's just some of us a little bit more comfortable or have a little more practice doing whatever it is we're doing publicly, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I love what Carol just wrote in the chat box. She wrote, "We are all the ones we've been waiting for."
Yeah.
Absolutely. So again, thank you for the homeopathic dose. We will have a chance for questions and answers with Courtney, but her website is shantievolution.com. shantievolution.com. And I encourage you, just click about and learn about her or learn about her services. There's a lot that she has to offer. Now, of course, you do counseling. And do you do sound healing ceremonies for people? Is that part of?
I do. So I do a few shows. So I've done the Soul Search shows, and I just did a show today. And then I come to people's homes. So I'm in San Diego in California, and I'm starting to get things online. So I'll be starting to put sessions online as well, which will be really powerful. I'll get more comfortable in front of a large audience on the screen. And yeah, I place the bowls on your body and around your body. And the bowls that I use are actually there are 7 precious metals that are hand pounded in Nepal that are in alignment with your 7 chakras and the 7 heavenly bodies in the solar system. So they really do align you. And I use Reiki healing energy as well. So it's a lot of clearing that happens, and just alignment.
Beautiful. If you need support on how to really learn how to do music for Zoom, there's this amazing woman named Kristen Hoffman that I can refer you to, who literally provide support for people.
2 ins?
Two ends. Yes, definitely two ends. I've referred
Thank
several
you.
like, Scott, I want to be on your show, but I don't have a clue how to do the bowls. Kristen is the person to talk to about that. So that's a side gig that she has. So it's a good side
Thank
gig,
you.
I might add. So there she is. I also should want to remind everybody that, all of these people we're seeing are part of Soul Search. So you can also go to soulsearch.io, soulsearch.io. If you have not registered yet, please join Soul Search, for heaven's sakes. It is the place where you're going to meet these amazing people. And Tangila and I are now doing 2 shows a month because she has so many amazing people that we need to meet. So definitely go to Soul Search. And she's got these incredible psychic fairs. We're going to do a couple shows in July from her psychic fairs. I'm going to be with her in at the San Rafael one, at the Santa Clara one. And so it's going to be really, really fun. And her psychic fairs, I was at one of the ones recently, and it was a blast. It was really, really fun. So definitely join Soul Search. Courtney, can you stick around for the Q&A at the end?
Yes, thank you.
Great. We'll talk to you then. We are the Global Peace Tribe, and we are getting to know, we have all the people we love. We love Kristen. I noticed that when she came on, somebody was saying, "Yay, Kristen's here. Yay, Tangila is here." Well, of course, a lot of you love Sri and Kira. They're in Egypt or have been in Egypt. And of course, our wonderful wild monk, Jerry Anderson. We all love Jerry. Those of you who've been to the retreats, Jerry was there. And he went to Egypt with Sri and Kira and sent us this photo. So I'm imagining that Jerry's going to be back with us soon. And he can give us, some of the download of what happened in Egypt. But we don't have to wait for Jerry because our wonderful co-pilot, Omashar, actually did a concert kind of from Luxor virtually.
It was a trip because they were in Luxor just on the anyway. They had a perfect internet connection from within a square space within the Luxor temple. It was amazing. And so they had me connected via Zoom to Luxor and also the pyramid in Ecuador at Blue Tosa Mountains. We were all on camera at the same time, and it was absolutely brilliant because it expanded my consciousness to my times in Egypt and also in South America. And it's kind of like the show tonight. We each have a voice. This is not the way I want to say it, but I'm going to have to say it because it's all that's there that I wish I had. And for instance, what Kristen was saying earlier, I wish I had the ability to share that, but then that's a limiting thought, and I don't wish I had the ability to share it now because Kristen shared it. She's the part of myself that shares that, so I don't need to be Kristen. I can be myself, like Oscar Wilde said in the one of the Jay's quotes earlier. So without further ado, here's a lovely deepening song called "We Feel Love," that we can feel love to. And I also, Courtney, I really appreciated that you took the moment to come out of your head into your heart, wait for the space for that which you wanted to be delivered to come out from your heart rather than your head. I really felt that. And that's where I am at the moment now. I'm gathering all the best bits of myself, putting them in the middle, letting them all go and seeing what else comes up. And so here we go. I got to click a few buttons here. And
Omashar, is this a dancing song? No.
lost in a sea of illusion. Feeling so alone. And lost on a wave of confusion. Where do you turn? Flow with the tide of completion. Know the reason why. Drink in the waters of healing. And be healed. We're coming home to the part of us that's waking up. And we know deep inside of us, we've got a friend. And we remember the design of our lives. We remember the desire in our hearts. And we feel love, and we feel and dive into the depths of your being. Know that all is well. Dive into the deepest ocean and see the truth. And cast off the cover of darkness. Free yourself from fear. And show that you're ready and willing to make the change. We're coming home to the part of us that's waking up. And we know deep inside of us we've got a friend. And we remember
going to go to gallery view. Let's all twinkle our beloved brother. Such a beautiful song.
Thank you.
So beautiful.
It is a lovely song. Don't know where that one came from either. They just come. The song tree, I call it. When I'm really open and out of the way, this song tree comes, and there's like an apple, and if I dare to pick it, I know it means an involvement, but a song like this will come through. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, brother. I just want to remind everybody that you can learn more and buy Omashar music. His website is his name, omashar.com, and just scroll down a little bit. And there are the ways to buy, but we always encourage Bandcamp because they're the most generous. That's where all of his albums are. You see that empty spot that's going to be filled one of these days soon with all the new songs he's been recording and creating for all of us. So let's support our beautiful.
It's true, and I actually dropped on YouTube the song I sang last Wednesday, which was actually a mantra. The other side of Omashar has create sacred mantras. Well, I didn't create the mantras because they're already created, but the music to go with them. And so I just posted yesterday on YouTube. Omashar Music is my YouTube handle. And on there it's from my journey to Tibet and Kathmandu, Nepal. And all of the sounds that were created there to a beautiful mantra. So please tune into that one.
Fantastic. Maybe, well, I'll find the link and I'll pop it.
I'll drop it in the thing. I'll find it. Thank you.
Okay. Drop it on the thing.
Yes, the thing. You're looking at my thing down here. When I don't have words, they're either things or decline. When I used to live in Hawaii, it was decline. Everything is you can't think about it. It's just decline. So.
Yeah, I'm going to read. You got, of course, many comments, but I'm going to read a few. Ayada writes, my new favorite Omashar song. I love this song. So mellow, rich, and exquisitely true for these times. Eleanor Joy says, hey, Omashar, I just can't help it. It's my Dharma. Your beautiful music is always dance music for me. Much love to you for your wisdom and your music.
Thank you.
And Margie writes, such a great rhythm, Omashar. I was jamming along with you on the hammered dulcimer.
Oh, very nice.
So, yeah, you can't stop us from moving.
I know. You hammer that dulcimer. So,
and Omashar is going to do the closing song for us tonight, everybody. So,
thank you.
Sure. Tangila, I'm really excited to meet not one, two amazing gentlemen that you're about to introduce.
Yes, I'm really excited to introduce them as well. So, I'm happy to introduce Thomas Workman and AJ Covenant. They are intuitive channels and joy practitioners and founders of Speaking from Source. And they actually met in 2016 and discovered that they have this unique ability to simultaneously channel a collective of non-physical beings they call the guides, which are a group of angels, ascended masters, native ancestors, elementals, galactics, interdimensional beings, and they speak with one voice from the universal mind. So these guides share messages for expansion and the evolution of humanity and focus their teachings on helping humans achieve a more consistent state of joy in their lives. And so Thomas and AJ are here with us to be, introducing us to the guide, bringing us some messages that they are bringing through for this particular theme and topic we have today of Dharma, our Dharma as a creative expression. And of course, we'd love to hear from both of you about that process and what that means for each of you personally. And so I'm just really excited to welcome you both to the show. So happy you could be joining us, and welcome to our Global Peace Tribe family.
Thank you so much. We're so excited to be here.
We certainly are. And I am AJ, by the way, and this is Tom, just in case there's any confusion there. Boy, I mean, each of us have our stories to tell. Certainly, we've been spiritual. We've each had a spiritual practice before we met. But, one of the things that we're really excited to do is to let the guides speak. I mean, the guides have so much wisdom that they want to share today. So, if it's okay with you at some point, we'd love to bring in the guides. And then maybe in the Q&A, we could stick around and answer some questions about our own perspectives.
But we will say, doing what we do is so unique, and it's a little cheeky to call yourself speaking from source, quite honestly. And we really kind of debated it, but the guides really came back and said, if this is who you are, this is who you are. And there's a real message in there about Dharma, that you are what you are. You are created the way you were created. And that's really what the guides teach. And that's really their goals, to help people settle into and fall into who they really are and what they're really created to be. So
yeah, it was very interesting, actually. Very early, the guides gave us a beautiful image about the totality of who we are, the totality of source, because, there's no separation. Often we feel that we might be separate, but we're not. And the guides remind us of that often. But they presented the image of this beautiful diamond as the image of source, the totality of all that is. And, what makes a diamond special is each of its own facets. And they reminded us, they said, your incarnation is intentional. You are absolutely meant to be here for a reason. And it's because you are a unique facet of that diamond. You are not separate at all. You are a unique facet with your own unique perspective, with your own unique brilliance. And it is the sum totality of that makes that diamond sparkle. It could not sparkle as brightly and illuminate as beautifully and as brilliantly without you, without your unique facet contributing to this beautiful diamond that is source.
And yet, what I think the really important point is, that they make it often, in fact, we're talking about it now, is the fact that you don't see the beauty of a diamond and all of the beauty of those facets until you see the whole diamond, until you see it together. It is the collective, it is the tribe, it is the community that lets our individual dharmas combine to shine the full diamond. So with that, we'd like to bring in the guides and let them do whatever they'd like. So give us a second. We'll invite them in, and you'll know when they're here. We welcome you to this important conversation, for this conversation has been going on for many, many millennia and through many civilizations and generations. From your very creation as beings, you question why you exist and why you are here. And so the conversation we are having with you now is a conversation that has occurred far before us and shall occur far after us. And so the question is it simply our ability to be unable to come to an answer? No, for we are in constant evolution. The universe is creating and expanding at all times, and therefore it is important to realize that the conversation about Dharma now, and the forms in which you are able to be what you are as a creation, differs and grows. And we wish to show you then that the conversation is bigger than each of us, as the very concept is bigger. We will make this analogy for you then. We will say to you that your individual expression, your individual karma, Dharma is expressed best collectively. For you must understand that you are more than this incarnation. You are part of a larger eternal journey, and one in which you are expressing alongside generations after generations, lifetimes upon lifetimes. And as doing so, you recognize the bigger picture, the ability to say what you are creating today, what you are doing now, is a much larger picture, even in your own soul.
This aspect is not unique to you, for it is mirrored in the larger universe. As the universe expands and creates and shines its own light, so do you, dear ones, as you expand and create through your beingness, through your creative endeavors, through your expression, through your words of wisdom that you are able to share with others in each and every circumstance, in each and every moment. This contributes to the illumination of your light, the illumination of others, and the illumination of all that is. For when you step into your light, when you step into your beingness, you avail yourself of the wisdom that is you, the total wisdom of totality, and the communication and messages that come to you allow for a certain alignment which opens up to source wisdom. And when you become aligned with source, there are great wisdoms which are available for you to pursue.
Knowledge in the light. Knowledge in the light. We also remind you, dear ones, that you are never alone. This is not your journey to go on your own, for you are surrounded by so many of us in the divine realm. You are surrounded by so much of your family that you cannot see, but who are around you at all times. So you are not coming to this realization alone, and there is always assistance for you. We encourage you to find. We shall say one more thing to you that is of importance, and it is that the energies of creation and the energies of reception are not the same. And so it is important to recognize that as you live in the energy of your Dharma, as you, because you are who you are, is simply create. You need not make it your business who is receiving and how they are receiving, for this is where many of you stumble. And so we remind you with great love that you only must make your business the creation, and realize that the business of reception is not yours.
We remind you, dear ones, to look at your environment, to consider where you have been placed on this earthly realm, to look at the diversity around you, the trees and the birds and the animals and the beloved ones you call your pets, your dogs and your cats, and so on and so forth. For they are simply shining and existing in their own being. The tree is not asking, what is my Dharma? Your cat is not considering what its Dharma is. It is simply following its creative endeavors. It is simply allowing itself to be in a status of being, in a status of receiving, accepting, and allowing, not in a state of resistance or in conflict or indecision. And so we say this to you, dear ones, to remind you to step into your light of beingness, to step into your light of consciousness at this very time.
You know how deeply you are loved by Source, yes? You know that, in fact, you are divine of the same energy of Source, yes? In this, we advise you to remain and to realize this deep adoration that Source has for you, for it is there that you are able to land into the creation that you are and find the full joy of that being. We encourage you always to be and not to do, for simply in being you are adored by all of creation. And with this, we are complete. I have to tell you something. Sorry, it takes me a second. in our group sessions and in our individual sessions, but we really have been testing this with our groups online, especially. When we do the session, it's about an hour, and we always tell the guests, just hold still for a minute, because when they say they're complete and when we're done, just hang on for a minute, because they want to hug you. And so some of you may also have felt that hug, because it's our favorite part. Hugs are such pure love that so we'll look up, right, when we come out of it, and we'll see everyone on the screen and people are crying, and but it's our favorite part, because really source is love. The energy is love, and that's what centered us. So
well, let's all take a minute of silence to receive the hugs. I'll go to gallery view, and let's just all take a few breaths. Nothing like that beautiful silence and presence. Thank you. One quick question, and then we'll say the other questions for the end of the show. Of course, some channels are clear and they remember everything they said. Some don't remember anything. Some kind of are like observers watching. How do you both experience it?
Well, we record because we don't remember all of it. We certainly, and in fact, we record and then transcribe. And when we go back over the transcript, we realize there's a lot of imprecision and that we have to kind of clean that up. But what we are always amazed is sort of like, wow, they said that. Did you catch that? Did you catch what they said? Because we didn't at the time. And we have a feeling, you know, for us as channels, we have colors, we have impressions, we certainly have vibrations. And that's what I remember after the channeling. I'm like, oh, they were loving you.
And you know, that transcription is something we do for all of our individual clients as well, because it's just so dense, the information that they put forward. And so it really does take you a little bit to come back and read it and take it all in and revisit that. It really is something.
We were talking with a client today who we were describing it like the Mona Lisa, which was created in layers.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes a lot of the messages of the guides, there's a real above board conscious, yeah, that makes sense. Or even, I already know that.
Yeah.
And then there's this little bit deeper that when I go back and look at it again, I go, or sometimes there's a life event and I go, oh, okay, now I know what they were talking about.
But it's very transformative. You know, often the guides will give you a 180 spin that you've never seen, a perception that you've never seen before. And, you know, both Tom and I, as I mentioned at the outset, come from, you know, we've developed our spiritual practice, you know, since very early ages. And when I opened up to channeling, when I really opened myself up to that idea and I started getting that wisdom through, you know, I would say, gee, you know, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. You know, I know about karma and I know about reincarnation and I know about all of these principles. And yet the guides would give us such amazing wisdom in new ways that we've never seen. And I might just like to leave you with a quote from the guides. We have, you know, our Wisdom Wednesday quotes that we send out from the guides often. But one of the things they say is that joy is the symptom of wholeness. And I thought, what a beautiful perspective to think about. You know, when you're in joy, you're whole and you're complete. And it's just little things like that that are just so nutrient rich to remind us that, you know, we're whole when we're in joy.
Beautiful. Well, I want to let people know how they can get more of you. Their website is called speakingfromsource.com. Speakingfromsource.com. It's a really beautifully designed website. I love how you can right away ask questions and connect with these two beautiful guys. And it's wonderful to see two men together We've had a lot of women together on this show, but not so often two men. And it's really beautiful to see both of you, to feel your love for the world, your love for each other, your love back and forth with the guides. And can you stick around for our Q&A at the end?
Yeah,
We'd
we'd love
Thank
to.
you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. All right, guys, we'll see you in a little while. All right, Tangila, we have one more soul searcher. Tell us who we got.
We do, and I'm very excited to be introducing Tony Terrapelli from Universal Power Healing. And Tony is also an amazing healer and guide. She is an intuitive healer, as well as healing artist. She's the founder of Universal Power Healing and practices so many modalities that she's been trained in, and has this direct connect with her universal power to bring through healing of the Heavenly Father, Mother Earth, the angelic realm, ascended masters. And she brings forth this ultimate healing by connecting with your higher self for more information for your complete healing. And she channels angels, she paints them, and she also prints them on healing wraps. I actually have a number of her angels. Tony is always a regular at my psychic and healing fairs in the Bay Area. So for those of you in the Bay Area, if you're coming to Burlingame or San Rafael, Tony will be there. And these are some of her, like this is the Angel of Strength card, which is very powerful. Which I actually have been working with for the last few months, really to bring forth strength. And then most recently, Tony was at my Pasadena show, and then I was very much drawn to this awakening angel, which I now have, and I've been working with, including with her wrap. So I actually have her angelic, the Angel of Awakening wrap, which it was really interesting because even though Tony is at my fairs often, I'm so busy there. I don't really usually get to go to different people's booths and really look at everything. And Janina, who was working, who works with me at Soul Search, a lot of you may have been in contact with her. She came up to me and she was like, oh my God. She's like, I just went over to Tony's booth and I had a chance and I put her angel wrap around me and I had the first spiritual experience of my life. And I was just blown away. And that is really the power of your work, Tony, and what you are bringing through and from the angelic realms, both through your paintings, through your healing work, and just to be able to create these works of art that are so accessible for all of us to have as a reminder and a remembrance, and as a conduit for us to be in constant connection to our guides. So powerful. So Tony, welcome. I'm so overjoyed to have you here with us. And thank you for being here. Just would love to have you share more about you, your work, and of course, living your Dharma as you're doing.
And Tony, I do have a request, which is if you could, whoops, we lost Tony.
Yeah.
I think she might have pressed the wrong button. Oh, there she is.
She is.
Tony, can you adjust your camera so we can see more of you? There we go. I mean, it's beautifully.
Okay.
That's awesome. Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love being here and I love blessing people. My Dharma, my goodness, I was raised Roman Catholic. So I had that upbringing, which was very interesting. So I always say I'm a recovering Catholic. But I always had that connection, deep connection with some kind of higher power and source. And so I kept on with that. And it was absolutely wonderful. I loved it, loved it, loved it. As far as with the painting, my beautiful mom, who is now in her eternal plane, she was an artist. And I used to play piano when she would paint. And I still remember the smell of the beautiful orange turpentine. In fact, I wanted to drink it. And funny, now you can drink it and it's actually healthy. That's pretty funny. She wouldn't be freaking out if I did. Anyway, so I've had that. I had the art when I was very young. I didn't do it. She did. Music, I love. It's for my soul. She used to say, Tony, I have a headache. Can you get rid of it? And I was a kid and I did. And I say, is it gone? Yeah, it's gone. You just made me feel good. I didn't want you to stop. And then I had Liz introduce her reflexology. So I've always had this kind of hands-on with people for a very long time. I was a personal trainer, so I'm always involved with the body. I used to compete in bodybuilding. I was a hairstylist and still am. So I've always had my hands on people. I love having my hands on people. So I've used to have people tell me that, oh, I have a stiff neck. Can you get rid of it? And yeah, how can you do it? I just know the body. I never said I was a healer. So I did that and it would be gone. I grew people's hair back and it would be gone, but I never once said I was a healer. I just knew that I could. I just said, I just know the body and I can do this. Fast forward, I was invited to a paint and wine night. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I was on the phone healing someone. As a result, I was late because I was in the angelic realm. I wasn't here on earth. And so before I went in, I said, okay, Mom, I want you to guide me. And Picasso, I want you to guide me. And Michelangelo, I want you to guide me. And, you know, just let me know. Well, I was late. Everyone had the same thing on their canvas. And I said, oops, something inside me said, I can't do that. I can't do the same as everyone else. So I asked my friend, do you mind if I just do my own thing? He said, go ahead. So I asked the instructor, can I just do my own thing? And to let you all know, I really hadn't painted anything because my mom was the artist and I was a perfectionist. And if I tried to paint anything, I remember trying to paint Sly Stallone, Rocky. I liked muscles, right? Being a personal trainer, I liked that. Oh my God, I had a big old pile of stuff. I could never get through it. So I go there, I asked Michelangelo and Picasso, my mom, to come in and help me out. And I got the okay that I could just do my own thing. Everyone did kind of a dark thing. Well, I can't do dark. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm all of light and I love it. And I'm all of love. That's what I work with. It's unconditional love. These angels that come through me, it's unconditional love. So I started doing the painting and all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's an angel. How cool is that? So I did the angel. And then after that, I just left it on my piano and I just kept on being like Picasso or Michelangelo or my mom. And, oh, here's a little bit more. Here's a little bit more. After I painted my first angel, all of a sudden my angels started coming through and coming through and coming through. I could be in the shower and all of a sudden I had like 2 and 3 of them because you're not distracted in the shower. But then I started like, I'd be cutting hair and all of a sudden an angel would start talking to me and I'd have to stop the haircut and I would sketch out the angel and sometimes the angels would give me their name along with how they wanted to look and sometimes the whole message all at once. So I would have to definitely jot down and so on and so forth. Sometimes it would just be the angel and I paint that. And then during the whole painting process, which is just divine, I lose track. It's probably the same as with the music and the writing of the songs. The 7 years I can get that because it's like one more thing, and it's so divine. It's wonderful. You cannot push source. You cannot push angels. You can't try and, hurry it up because it's not your process. It's not you. It's divine. It's the angels. It's source. And it's absolutely incredible. I can be in my vortex painting and lose 4 hours and not know what happened. Every one of them has a blessing that touches your heart and touches your soul. I am guided with absolutely everything that I do. I tell people I'm guided 24/7. Everything that I have, a mug, a print, a canvas, a wrap, came through from the angels telling me that I needed to do this. And sometimes my angels will come through others and tell me that I need to do this. And it's absolutely incredible. And I never question it. I just say, okay. I listen, and I love it. So I invite all of you, listen. When you get that nudge, do not put this in the way. When you get that nudge, just go with it and go forward and be fearless, because it's absolutely amazing. Now with my healing, since I knew I had that, I now bring my angels. So I bring my angels in. I bring the ascended masters, anyone who wants to do it. I have a tree that overlooks my healing room, and Odin, who is a Norse god, is actually in the tree. You can see the patch over the eye and his chiseled nose and chin is absolutely amazing. So I even bring Odin in. People always ask me, are they archangels? They are so many angels. They're not just the archangels. I deal with the seraphim realm all the way down. I deal with elements. I love working with the elementals as well. It just makes me feel good. Anything that I can do could possibly help you, to possibly help your heart, to possibly help your soul, to take away some of the pain, because I don't like it. I'm an empath and I feel it. And so I want to take that away from people. I want to do whatever I possibly can. So when I am in the presence of someone and I start doing the work, sometimes I even channel. People have said you're psychic. I don't put all those labels. I know who I am. And I like to heal at the deepest level possible. There was one time I had my hands on someone and I felt someone just walk in me. And it was like I was not who I was. And I did the healing work. And I found out it was someone very near and dear to their heart. And the healing was deep. And it changed them profoundly. I'm in gratitude. I always tell people I'm blessed to be a blessing to others. And it's absolutely amazing. And I thank you, Tangila. Thank you for your events. Thank you for your soul search. I just love the platform. I love your heart and soul. You're an incredible being of light. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. And thank you so much for bringing your gifts out into the world. And also, I think what's really powerful about the work that you do is you support people in connecting to the multidimensional realms in so many different ways, through the creative expression, through the angel art, through the cards. I mean, I have a candle. Because, again, like people don't, people have their own barriers and boxes that they're in, and you never know what's going to support someone in their opening and their awakening and in their healing. What have you seen come through from your art and from just the different types of, work that you do and bring through?
As far as what I've seen come through my clients?
Yes.
Oh my God. I have seen people open up like a flower and totally bloom and be brighter than I've ever seen. In fact, just saying it is bringing tears to my eyes. We have this one beautiful being of light. She is a practitioner. And she's been trying to find this peace within for a long time. And she's been coming and coming. She says, Tony, I've never experienced anyone like you, and it's just great. And she went from just really being shy and quiet to just feeling her own, feeling good again. Her cat even, I've been doing work on her cat. Her cat is even knows me intuitively. When I call, he'll get by the phone, just knows it's me. It's so darn cool. I've had children who happen to have autism, and I put the wrap around them. And I ask them, how are you feeling? And they tell me that their mind is clear and their body is calmer now. This is amazing. I want to get them in schools. I have a history with being in schools. I created a nonprofit for schools. I created academic programs that combine the academics and the fitness, because I'm a personal trainer, so I'm my whole coach, right? 75% growth in spelling and reading and everything else. So now I want to get my wraps in there. Can you imagine getting these wraps in schools and allowing the kids to be wrapped and being able to focus on what they need to focus on. I was in the car with this one friend. We were going to see the daughter, and her husband had kind of a broken ankle and it was hurting. I said, no problem, put your ankle up here. And I held on to it until we got to the hospital. He was able to walk on it when we got to the hospital. I mean, it's story after story. It's amazing. And I'm always in awe. And it always makes me so good, feel so good. I feel tears coming out of my eyes almost all the time when I'm doing my work. I feel my heart just filled with so much love because I know that I'm finally once and for all serving the purpose. And I'm just simply taking pain away that needs to be away. Of course, I can't be a codependent, so I have to tell them they have to do some work too. I have learned that along the way. That was a toughie because I just want to fix everyone, but I'm realizing that if they don't take some kind of responsibility, it's not going to be done completely. So that was a long, hard lesson. When I first started saying that I was a healer, I tell people, okay, hey, did say that they have a headache or this and that. Do you want me to help you? Oh, no. Why? And it would hurt my feelings. I was like, oh my God, you don't want me to help you. You'd rather take an aspirin. No. And now it's like, okay, well, you know where to find me. So it's really pretty cool. But I mean, another time I was in Portland, Maine, going from the airport, or no, my place to the airport. And the driver was like, yeah, I have to go and, have surgery, my knee. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You want me to help you? Well, how are you going to do it? Because he's driving. I said, let's put my hand on your knee while we're driving. Well, what am I supposed to do? Just continue talking. It's no big deal. So he's driving. We're all talking, laughing, having a good time. By the time he gets out there, he can walk and he's not even in pain. He's like, how did you do that? I said, I'm just able to do it. You have a great day. Enjoy. So that's some of the stories. Thank you for asking.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Tony, for again being an embodiment of what the show is about tonight. Really living your Dharma, trusting it and doing it. And I'm sure that some people are going to want either your paintings or some session work with you. So again, as we always do, directing people to your website. It's universalpowerhealing.com. universalpowerhealing.com. And I love that the journey to being the best you starts with you. And take the journey with Tony. There's a lot of options, a lot of things she can help you with. She's clearly a very, very special soul. Will you be able to stay for our Q&A, Tony? It'll be in about 15 minutes.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you.
I want to briefly, Tangila, put the spotlight on someone that we love, and they clearly are living their Dharma, and it's Connie and Andrew. And Connie and Andrew, you have for many, many years, probably decades, you have been truly living your Dharma, whether it's making movies, teaching classes, writing books. So I'd love for you to just talk briefly about this, maybe share anything you didn't share on Wednesday night. And then, of course, we want to let people know about your appearance coming up on the Self-Love Show.
Well, yes, this Dharma thing, this alignment with our divinity, we have the trust frequency, 10 assumptions for a new paradigm.
That's our book.
That's our book.
That's our workshop.
Yes, workshop in our book. And we give people a construct on the nature of the universe so that we understand the unconditional nature of the love that is all things, that it gives us everything we ask for. So we give people some tools for understanding their vibration, what creates their vibration, their consciousness creates their vibration, and our request to this conscious loving universe. So our work definitely has to do with giving people the courage and that the construct to know that we are in fact loved by a conscious loving universe, and we are that love. So
we call it the high road to happiness. That's the difference it makes.
Yeah. Yeah, and our definition of humanity, we have different definitions. Our definitions of humanity is that we are a collection of divine, autonomous, sovereign beings who have chosen to incarnate on earth on our soul's journey to wholeness, alignment with our divinity and our purpose. So we gave an overarching act of free will to the conscious loving universe to take us on this journey. And that's what brings in our dance of souls that we're going to be doing on the self-love show. And that is that we gave permission for the universe to show us those parts of ourselves we love, our light, and our shadow, those parts we don't love yet. So that's a huge flip from victim to beloved, to know that everything happens in our life for us, not to us.
Yeah, if anybody's ever felt like they're a victim of circumstance, guess what? Turns out we're actually beneficiaries of circumstances. Circumstances got our back. It's on our side. It directs us. It guides us. Whoa, that's different.
Because we promised to bring a gift to the party, and all of creation is awaiting that gift. That's what everyone's been speaking about. And they've given so many tools here tonight. And it's so exciting to hear this, all these tools that everyone is bringing tonight.
It really is something how, whether it's you, Michael Beckwith, the Twin Ray, Byron Katie, all talk about the stages of evolution, that we start, with victim, the world is happening to us. Then we realize, wow, the world is happening for us.
Yeah.
And then we begin to really realize the world is happening through us. And then the final stage of the world is us. It is us. And I want to take a moment to just really pitch your book. When I finally listened to your presentation on the trust frequency, I think you were doing it for World Unity Week. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And these 10 assumptions help us to anchor in the understanding of the way of thinking we need, the consciousness we need to really be in the alignment of knowing that life is happening through us and as us. It's a great book. It's easy to get. Here's the place where you can get it on Amazon. You can get it used for $5.56. You can get it.
That's right. We get so little from Amazon as a result. So go to our thetrustfrequency.net.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. The Trust.
Signed with some goodies, etc. So, and you can explore our course, the Dance of Souls course, on our website, thetrustfrequency.net.
I got it. Here it is. So welcome to the Trust Frequency. So everybody, I'll put that in the chat box. But for those of you watching on Facebook, thetrustfrequency.net. And I love when people I love are coming together, and you are going to be on the Self-Love Show. And a reminder for everybody, you all know we have Awakening World Wednesday night, Saturday night, Sunday morning, but also there's the Self-Love Show every Thursday morning with our beloved Trish Wright and her partner, Dawn. And it's funny how it's Trish Wright and Dawn Light. It rhymes. And they have this beautiful self-love show every Thursday morning, 10 a.m. And you are going to be their guests next Thursday. So let's definitely catch Connie and Andrew on the Self-Love Show. And really, just as you've got the Awakening World programmed into your calendars, everybody, or hopefully you all do, please add the Self-Love Show. And so, Connie and Andrew, love you guys so much. Any last thoughts?
No.
What a beautiful show. And Kristen, oh, thank you. Wow, wow, wow. Looking forward to Wednesday night. Yeah.
Yeah.
There she is.
And trust the loving universe with bold, committed action. That's the Dharma piece. That's the do it, just do it. The instructions from the divine right through Madison Avenue. Just do it.
We are one. We are one. We are one.
Yep, it's Global Peace Tribe announcements time. And the first announcement is, it's interesting how life goes. Kristen Hoffman has on many occasions partnered with Cornflower. They met through the Global Peace Tribe. They then have done, I think, 5 or 6 concerts together. And Cornflower is on tour. Now, he's been living on the East Coast, but he is coming to the West Coast. So I really want to encourage everybody here in California, and I know probably at least a third of our viewers are California people. He's going to be doing events in Mountain View on June 12th, in Oakland on June 14th, at the Summer Dance Camp, the big annual Summer Dance Camp on June 15th. And then I've got to go to a different place he's going to be in San Rafael on June 18th. And so I know I'm going to do my very best. Now, his San Rafael gig, as fate would have it, is going to be the same time that we have our Sacred Sunday show. The Sacred Sunday show is always at 10 o'clock. He comes on at 11 o'clock in San Rafael. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But if you go to cornflowermusic.com, that's where you can get all the information about his upcoming tour. Let's all go see Cornflower here in California. So that's something that's very exciting. I also want to just turn things over now for a moment to Tangila to tell us more about Soul Search.
Sure. Well, thank you, Scott. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. I love seeing everyone's comments about all of our incredible Soul Search guests, all of the healers and channelers and everyone that we've had on tonight. And you can connect with all of them on Soul Search. And Soul Search, of course, we are an online platform and community to bring forth transformation and healing to the world, supporting people in connecting to their highest self, and also creating community together so that people can really connect to communities of spirit and really bringing together soul family, which is what we're doing together during this time. And we're doing it online. And we also do it through all of our in-person events, which you've heard about all throughout the show. Many of you guys have been to our psychic and healing fairs. And so, yes, this is our Soul Search platform. You can find all of our amazing guests from tonight on the platform. And you can also see all of them at our upcoming shows. Our next show is in Scottsdale on June 18th, and that's going to be an amazing show. Amanda, Romania, who you guys heard today, powerful oracle and wisdom keeper. She is going to be giving an incredible talk. AJ and Thomas are going to be channeling the guides live. So that is going to be an incredible opportunity. And we're going to be having many other speakers as well. But definitely, if you are in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area on June 18th, I would recommend stopping by, meeting all of our incredible soul searchers there in person, and of course, getting to do an even deeper dive with Amanda, AJ, and Thomas in person. We also just started recording our speakers' presentations from our show. So I know a lot of you guys have asked me, oh, well, I'm not near your psychic fair, so how am I going to tune in and be able to participate in this workshop? Well, now we're going to actually be filming them, and we did film our Pasadena speakers, so we'll be putting those on our YouTube channel, and we'll be putting our upcoming speakers from Scottsdale on YouTube, and hopefully we'll be able to live stream it soon as well. So not sure if we'll get it ready for Scottsdale, but definitely soon. And we have other shows coming up. Actually, it's not on this list, but our next show after Scottsdale is June 25th in Santa Ana. And we're really excited because Kimberly Meredith, who most of you here know and love, she's an incredible medical medium and channel. She'll be one of our incredible guest speakers doing a live talk on mediumship and divine connection. So that will be really powerful. And all of July, we have shows in Burlingame, July 8th, Santa Clara and Silicon Valley, July 15th and 16th, and San Rafael, July 29th. For those of you who want to meet Tony, she will be there. So you'll be able to meet her in person, experience her healing, put our angel wrap around you and feel that power and connection. So she will definitely be there. And then we have a lot more upcoming shows in Southern California where you'll actually be able to meet Courtney. I know I saw in the comments, someone was asking to hear her bowls. So hopefully we'll have her on the show another time and you can hear her bowls, but you'll really be able to come to one of our Southern California shows and experience her full healing in person, because she also does a talk and workshop at our shows where she brings forth her gong, her bowls, and does a whole experience, which is really amazing. So, we're really excited just to be creating these opportunities for everyone to get together. Scott, you're going to be at the shows in the Bay Area, and we'll be actually doing this show live from the Psychic Fair. So that'll be fun too.
That's going to be fun. Thank you, Tangila. I love collaborating with you, and stick around because we're going to do a Q&A in a moment. I just want to let people know about what's coming up on the Awakening World, because we've got a lot that I'm excited about. Tomorrow is our third and final show on this theme, Living Your Dharma as Creative Expression. And you're going to love our guests. We've got Rama, Alexander, and Pops Mohammed, all coming in from Europe. And they are all remarkable artists. And Alexander actually runs a very large organization for artists. And they sent me an agenda. They put together their own show. There's going to be poetry. There's going to be a lot of actual artistic expression taking place tomorrow. So don't miss it. And then Tatiana Speed, who's, again, one of our favorite musical artists, will be with us. She's going to play music tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be a very wonderful show for just receiving music and poetry and creative expression. Now, Wednesday night's show, I really want to ask everybody to invite as many people as you know, because it's an important theme and we've got a very special guest. On Wednesday night, we're going to be honoring and celebrating Juneteenth. Juneteenth is when our world celebrates the true end of slavery. And it is a very important holy day that's just now really beginning to become something that people outside of the Black community celebrate. And we've got an amazing group of people. All of these people are going to be joining us live. My co-host is Antoinette Hall, along with Trish, who always co-hosts on Wednesday nights. Omashar will be with us. The great Pato Banton, who is an amazing reggae star, will be with us. Dr. Mama Ivy, doing sound healing. Piper Dellums, who's a dynamic speaker. And we've got an Academy Award-winning actor, Louis Gossett Jr., is going to be with us live on Wednesday night. He's the national spokesperson for Juneteenth. So it's like an all-star show. And this is something, especially those of us that aren't Black, to really come together and support and learn. Let's learn about this holy day. Let's learn about what still needs to take place for us to create more social equity in our world. So I would really love it if all of you come, maybe have a house party, invite others. It's a really important show that I'm very excited about. And then it's time for World Unity Week. And so on Saturday night, a week from tonight, it's the kickoff of the annual World Unity Week. This is the fourth year in a row now that I've been doing Global Peace Tribe shows, and we've been doing a big event to celebrate World Unity Week. And again, it's like an all-star group of people. Chief Phil Lane, Gary Malkin, my co-host Ben Bowler, Kristen will be back, John Raymer, Becky Suzik, Linda Bjork. And a lot of the people who are going to be presenting on World Unity Week are going to jump on and give us little tastes of what they're going to be doing. World Unity Week has over 200 speakers over the course of the week. And so we're going to be highlighting and spotlighting a lot of them for us. And then finally, the last thing I want to present tonight is what we're going to be doing on June 18th. I'm going to be collaborating with Chief Phil Lane and several Indigenous elders, Chief Reuben George, Diana Longboat, Donna Johns, Adriana Alvarez. And they're going to be coming together and talking about how the union of the condor, hummingbird, and quetzal and eagle are all rising. What does that really mean? How are the indigenous people of North and South America coming together to really bring forth this prophecy of unification? And also, it's our first show before the upcoming solstice. And so we didn't want to take anything away from Kristen's concert. So Abigail Spinner McBride, who would have been doing our solstice show on the 21st, will also be with us on the 18th to just do a really wonderful introduction to the solstice, how we can work with it, a little bit about the history of it. So we'll be celebrating the solstice and the coming together of these tribes. So that's what we've got coming up on the Awakening World. Please invite your friends, do house parties. Let's grow the tribe. You know, after every show, I go, God, that was a great show. And I want more people to be watching. And I need your help in getting more people to watch. So please, whatever you can do to get more people going. Okay. Let's bring up Tangila and our presenters. And that's going to include Omashar, because people might have questions for our beloved brother, Omashar. And there's Amanda. And where are the boys? Where are the boys? I see Courtney. There's Courtney with, oh, Courtney's got a new friend. Who's that with you, Courtney?
This is my daughter, Sophia.
Oh, welcome, Sophia. Well,
We've been apart all day, so she had to be part of this conversation.
There might be some questions for Sophia. It could happen.
Well, she's a wise one. So
Clearly. Now, Kristen's still with us, so I'm going to put the spotlight on you, Kristen. No, she took herself off. And there's Tony.
And Scott, we had a lot of questions coming in for all of the panelists, throughout the whole show. So, we couldn't catch all of them. We didn't have enough time. So if one of you all would like us to, really present that question to our panelists, please drop it back in the chat. But we did have a question coming in from Darvina Joy for all of our speakers. She asks, thank you to all amazing speakers, guests, channelers, and healers for the amazing sharings tonight. Question, what advice would you give to those who feel that they are still searching for their life purpose and not living their true Dharma yet, despite and beside living fully in the present and doing their best and being their kindest? So there's a beautiful
Which of
question.
you feel especially inspired for that one? Raise your hand. Okay, let's go to the guys, AJ and Tom.
But it's interesting. One of the things the guides say a lot is that we kind of get focused on this incarnation rather than all, and we keep sort of feeling like, oh, I'm running out of time, right? I've only got a limited to life is short. I only have this limited time. And I think you have to really trust the timing. I didn't start channeling until I was 50. And I can think, oh my goodness, why did it take so long and why is it late? So like asking the question, why did the album take 7 years, right? Because that's the perfect timing. That's exactly when it needs to happen. So I'd encourage you just to trust that the timing is divine.
And the message from the channels today was to step into your light. Often we chase those things that are external to us, or what society thinks, or, what we should be doing. And so, often through the channelings that come through to clients, they say, develop a practice, develop a relationship with us, start a conversation, because we're here from you. We're never separate from you. We're always present. And when you step into your light, when you go into your meditative space, the answers will come. And as you find that alignment, everything will start falling at your feet. There's no doing, there's just allowing.
Beautiful. And Tony, I noticed that you had also raised your hand. Would you like to add something to what the guys just said?
I don't know. I don't know how that happened. So that's a common question I get from a lot of people. How do I figure it out? And the thing that I really believe is most people have to drop into their heart and soul. If you're trying to think too much about it, you're not going to get it. You won't. You will not. That is in the way between source and the information. What I try and help people with, I tell them, put their hand on their heart and the lower ab and breathe in and just ask. You may not get the answer right away. Get outside, nature, barefoot, lean against a tree, hug a tree, kiss a tree, hand on heart on the lower ab and say, can you please help me with my purpose? I always call in my angels. So call in the angels. Get wrapped by an angel wrap. Wrap that, whatever. But seriously, the main thing is stay out of your head. But that's my biggest advice.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tony. Eleanor Joy, I'm going to put you on camera, Eleanor Joy, to ask you a question, if I can find you, because I love putting the spotlight on you. What did you want to share and what was your question? Spotlight's on you, dear, but you need to unmute.
Okay. Okay now?
Yes, we hear you.
So I've got this little heart condition and whatnot, and the energy was so strong that I had to push away back. And I just felt very compromised in my heart. And it was, I don't even know how to describe it. It was very pulsating. And I just wondered if they had any comments.
And who was that for?
The two men.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I'm sorry for that because we really believe that all energy can be directed towards healing. But we do understand that the energy can be very intense. We feel it.
It's very palpable.
It is very palpable. And what we couldn't do tonight that we would normally do is we were trying to do it all day, was set some intention. And in a case like this, it's very important to kind of set an intention that says, in fact, when we close out a full circle, we always do that, bringing in the energies from the universe in as healing, because oftentimes people feel like, oh, I got to protect myself. I've got to, right? As opposed to understanding all that energy can be directed towards healing. And so there's an intentionality there, and what great information for you, right? To sort of recognize there's a vulnerability that I'm going to always set an intention when I'm around this energy and expect the opposite.
Absolutely. And, when we do normally our formal online conversations with Source, with groups, or our one-on-one sessions, we take people through a guided meditation so that they can meet and be with the guides and assimilate with that energy because it's so strong. But, the guides often say as well, you are whole, you are complete, and start visualizing yourself from that perspective. And that's what the hug is about too. They're reminding you that you're whole and that you're complete and that you have all of the resources available for you to tap into the divine for your whole health and well-being.
We're going to send some healing energy tonight too.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm very used to energy work. I've been in the field for 33 years now or so. So it's not new to me and I wasn't scared, but I was very aware of how intense the energy was for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and AJ and Thomas, Ayada also commented, I found the energy very intense as well. I actually had shivers at first. And a few people had asked earlier in the chat, did you know who the guides were that were coming through during your channeling?
I just tell a wonderful story about that if I can, because we get that as the most common question. What's the name? What's the name of my guides? Who are the guides? Who are you talking to? Who are we talking to? And the guides always give the same answer: we don't care. And why they don't care is because they are of universal mind, and we are evolving towards oneness. Identity, what we think is very human, and we think it sort of comes with the package, and it comes with the package only where we are developmentally. Identity separates. It always does. So my name is Tom, and that immediately separates me from everyone not named Tom. right? And so I think the guides often make the point that they're saying, we want you to feel our energy and not try to find a personality. We've also, and I can tell you, I've experienced this too, that when I'm sort of like, oh, I'm talking to Raphael, then I suddenly create this box around all my imagery about Raphael. And the truth is, I may be having experience that says, oh, he relates to angels, I'm going to present as an angel because that he'll feel better. He won't scare him, right? And so I think with that understanding, we sort of understand that we don't need to know your name. We know you. And you're me.
Thank you. And I know, Courtney, you also had your hand raised to answer the first question. So did you want to pop in and join us to answer that first question that came through?
Well, what just came to me was that like my initial answer to those questions is also tap into your intuition. But what I've discovered along the journey with coaching people is that sometimes that's not so easy. And that sometimes people have a really tough time identifying what their truth is or who they are. And so then how they let that shine, right? And it took a long time, like several years, where I would just kind of, I felt like I was banging my head against a wall with friends, like, well, what is thing? And it can be difficult for people to access that. And so accessing it for me is being in nature, as with a lot of people here, I'd imagine, and doing things like that align with those vibrations. It also takes a little bit of detaching from that ego, because although we are all one, 100%, we are all unique aspects of it. And so there is a truth that's unique to each of us, but it's separate than our egos. It's separate than our identities that we've shaped through our lifetimes. So it may have nothing to do with anything you've even experienced. So it is something that I do with the Akashic record clearing to help people kind of get a better understanding of who they are so that they can live more in alignment and reach that Dharma. But it's also an experimentation. So, do an Akashic record reading clearing with me, great. Or just experiment and be playful with it to try things that maybe you never would have imagined trying and testing out, because then that might actually be where you can flourish. And then be conscious and aware enough to notice when that flourishing occurs so that you can feed that and focus your attention there. And then in the middle of the night in the forest, you trust that they will be right in front of you. You just continue to make the next steps in that direction and the path unfolds.
Beautiful. Thank you, Courtney, for that. And then Scott, we had a question come in from Amanda very early on that we didn't get to. And I know, Amanda, you had mentioned that you do a lot of your teaching in Asia now. And one of our guests was asking about, do you have any issues with the Chinese government with your work? How do people respond to your work there? So we'd love to hear about that, since you are, doing this work overseas.
Thank you guys for that question, because this is a global program, and I've been very blessed that when everyone in the world went into lockdown, I was approached by agencies in China from referrals of people that trusted me and trusted my work. And what I found was that if I stayed in my heart, in light, like Miss Tony was saying, that you're holding a frequency, it doesn't actually reach into your realm or your work. And what I found is, as long as I stay away from politics, religion, things that are not in my mission and my service. My mission and service is heart, Akashic records. I pulled some cards while you guys were talking. Clarity and ancestors and the earth. And as long as I stay in my lane, what I'm doing is I'm in that new reality, that fifth dimension. And everyone on the line here, you're stepping in your part of that. I was in Israel in April, and I was with my Chinese students. And We were there during the 3 big holy festivals, and people were sending me videos and information. And that was not my reality. I was surrounded by families and children and prayer and people celebrating peaceful aspects. So that's how I navigate it. That's how I get through temples and pyramids. That's how I get through Central America, into South America. It's one of those skills of navigating from intuitive gifts. So you keep yourself safe and grounded. You don't check out, you stay focused. I call it money tickets passport. And you be very, very respectful of their culture. So, we're having this whole evolution of learning about ourselves in the United States. I was born in England. I've been here for 10 years now. I'm a United States citizen. So the fact that I'm able to go into these homes in Asia and they're all on video like this. Some days I'm traveling on the Beijing subway, or I'm having a meal with a family in Shanghai because they've forgotten that their video is there. And I'm so blessed that they let me into their worlds, and I just help them move through the stuff, the heart, the love. I'm very blessed. So yes, stay away from religion, stay clear of politics, and just have an open heart.
Beautiful. All right. I think we've heard from everybody except for Omashar. And so I'm going to conclude us for the evening. Seeing Kristen having dinner, I thought, oh yeah, dinner, what a concept. It's been a beautiful, beautiful show. Thank you, Tangila. And Tangila and I will be back again. We're doing 2 or 3 shows together in July, coming from psychic fairs. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And let's go to Omashar for his closing thoughts, and I'm guessing perhaps a song.
You know what, Mike? I have no thoughts anymore. I find that I feel much more content when I'm just sitting in my heart. I don't have to think. And so with that, my song is going to speak for me, and it's called This Heart of Mine. And it's it's a gentle one. Eleanor, you can rock out because you do, even if it's very, I saw that it was a part of your Dharma. So, all right, let's do it. Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you for everyone on this call. Tom and AJ, you rock, everyone rocks, and I'm inspired. And I'm inspired to be myself, which is, what more can we be? Hope springs eternal in this heart of mine, learning surrender, learning to fly, knowing you're with me, my invisible friend, loving me onwards, calling me out of myself. Here I go again, trusting in life. All of the tears I've cried, clearing the way. All that's been said and done is turning to dust. And now that I'm here again,
will sing praises to the maker of my life. I will sing praises to the maker of my life. One heart, one breath, one love, one life. Knowing you love me and that we're divine, my heart is open, my heart is thine. I give my life to you, your hands in this world, open and flowing, calling me out of myself. Here I go again, trusting in life. All of the tears I've cried, clearing the way. All that's been said and done is turning to dust. And now that I'm here again, I will sing praises to the maker of my life. I will sing praises to the maker of my life. One heart, one breath, one love, one life. One heart, one breath, one love, one life. One heart, one breath, one love, one
Another review, Twinkles.
Twinkle Twinkles, that was a great I'm guiding around the Zoom screen, Scott. I've lost my mind. It was wonderful to see everybody, and lovely to see you, Caroline, with your child. How lovely!
You know, it is wonderful how that is taken off. It all started with Eleanor Joy getting up and dancing at some point, and then Reverend Jeffrey got up and started dancing on a regular basis. And it's beautiful to see how more and more people are.
It's lovely. It's Courtney, it was you with your child. I've forgotten the name. Sorry, and Roger with his Ringo T-shirt. That was cool.
And the Sedona background. The Sedona background.
But actually, Mr. Starr is doing a concert, I think, somewhere in Colorado soon. So, yeah.
It was Ringo Starr, all-star band last night in Lincoln, California.
Did you go? Did you go to that?
Yep.
Oh, that's a great concert to have gone to.
It was awesome.
Where are you? I'm trying to find you.
I'm right here in there. I am right here.
There you are. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we're out in the backyard right now.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, so it's still light where you are.
Yeah. Well, kind of, sort of. I changed the background, so.
Well, thank you, Roger and Bonnie, for bringing a little Ringo energy to the show.
Yeah. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Absolutely. Peace and love. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. It's been quite a show. And I sure hope you'll all join us tomorrow for our Sacred Sunday show. And let's really have a big audience for Wednesday night. Let's all celebrate Juneteenth. It's important. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. Have a beautiful evening. Get a good night's rest. And thanks again. I'm going to go to gallery view. Everybody can say goodbye.